Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Saad Tasleem. Inshallah ta'ala, we're talking about the tricks of Shaytan in the month of Ramadan. One of the tricks that Shaytan plays on us is to convince us that we cannot commit any sins in Ramadan. And so one of the common sins that people may be involved in is not lowering or not controlling their gaze. So a person may, as we know in Ramadan, people spend a lot of effort in keeping their bodies pure. Obviously, we don't put anything in our bodies, we don't eat, we don't drink. But when it comes to the soul, people may slack a little. So when it comes to lowering your gaze, it's very, very important because that is one of the things that keeps your soul pure. And the reality is people have a lot more time in Ramadan and people have less energy. So they may be involved in things like watching TV, watching movies, being on the internet for long periods of time. And it's easy to expose yourself to things which can lead to sins, and not lowering and not protecting your gaze in that case. So don't let Shaytan convince you that you cannot commit a sin in the month of Ramadan. I know one of the misconceptions people have about Ramadan is that the Shayateen are tied up. And that comes from the authentic hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. But the reality of that hadith is that, many scholars mention this, that not all of the Shayateen are tied up. Just the major or the strong Shayateen are tied up. Iblis, for example, the main Shaytan, Shaytan al-Akbar, he's not tied up. Amongst other things that are mentioned by the scholars is that, for example, our personal Shaytan, known as the Qareen, he is not tied up as well. So he can whisper to us and we can commit sins because of that. Or we know that, subhanAllah, one of the sources of the sins is our own nafs, is our own self. So obviously our own nafs is not tied up and sins may come from that place as well. So really important, be very, very careful what you expose your eyesight to, what you're looking at. Controlling your gaze applies in the month of Ramadan just as it applies to outside of the month of Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to knock out Shaytan in the month of Ramadan as well. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Until next time, inshaAllah ta'ala, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.